S46, war number 3, and we are up against Legion. And this time my team will be Lady D, Chee'ilth and Onslaught. I will be taking Path 5 in Section 1, Path 5 in Section 2, Sassy, Fixit, Immortal Abomination, Attuma and Photon mini-bosses. So, quite a few fights once again, and this will be the first time I'm bringing Onslaught on attack, at least during the season. I did try him out a little bit during the off-season, for a fight or two at least. Starting off here we have an Ebony Maw on the Even Flow knockdown and right back added nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Onslaught. And while he might not be the greatest option for Ebony Maw specifically, he is a great option for this set of nodes. And on top of that, his heavy reach is also very long, so you are able to heavy punish Ebony Maw's heavy attacks, which then allows you to keep that falter on cooldown throughout the fight. Now, the reason why Onslaught is great for this node set is the fact that his damaging effects are passives, so the right back added node as well as the Even Flow protection are essentially non-existent. On top of that, Onslaught will also inflict passive versions of any of his debuffs if the opponent happens to be immune to the debuffs, and that just means the right back added node means absolutely nothing. That ability also extends to the stun from the parry mastery, so you saw me there landing a passive stun with my parry while the right back added node was up. Now at this point I went for a special 2 to convert those neuroshocks into degens, and Ebony Maw just got completely melted, and I'd even say that the special 1 for the ramp up was a little bit overkill. I think I could have just gone for a special 2 straight away, and with a couple degens the fight would have been over a little bit faster. Then, next up we have a Nova here on the Heavy Hitter and Even Flow knockdown nodes, and I am taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And this fight was the reason I used that advanced power boost on the previous one. It doesn't really help against Ebony Maw, but for this one it allows me to get to my special 1 immediately from the start of the fight, allowing me to bypass the opponent's unstoppable effects. And that includes the unstoppable on the Heavy Hitter node. Now, all I really gotta do to close out this fight is just make sure I keep using my special 1s to keep that grit passive up, and then just baiting and punishing Nova's special 1s with my heavy attack. Bleeds on Chee'ilth are massive, so even though they get shrugged off from time to time by the Even Flow protection, they are still melting him whenever they have a chance to stay up for a bit. The fight went down pretty fast. I did make a slight mistake with my heavy spacing, followed up by the Stand Your Ground mastery resisting my heavy hit and Nova punishing me. But all that really means is just a potion or 2 down the drain, which is nothing new at this point. Then next up we have a Morbius on the Even Flow intercept and Sadist nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And this one was slightly worrying. Chee'ilth just so happens to inflict quite a bit of debuffs, so the Sadist node was extremely worrisome going in, especially considering how scary this defense tactic actually is. My initial plan was to avoid triggering that many debuffs on him, but as you can see here, my plan didn't quite work out. Now, one thing I also noticed while taking this fight is that there is something up with the tactic attackers, and I actually managed to parry stun Morbius's Psionic Glide, even without the steadfast passive. So there should not have been any way for me to block any unblockables, yet I somehow managed to parry stun one. I'm not gonna question it, it helped me out here, but that is very likely something that's gonna get fixed, since it does scream to be a bug, so I wouldn't be relying on that strategy going forward. Now, for whatever reason, I suck at dexing Morbius's psionic glide, so I went ahead and parried it again by accident. So, all in all, that went okay. I definitely got saved by whatever bug caused me to be able to parry those unblockable glides, but I will take it, and the fight went down without any bigger problems at least. And then we have another Onslaught fight here, with Killmonger being on the Mighty Charge and the Ebb and Flow Intercept node. And I will be using the same rotation I used against that Ebony Maw. I will go for a single special 1 followed by a single special 2, and the fight should be just about over with the degen damage. Now the Mighty Charge node here will be purifying basically all of my debuffs whenever Killmonger dashes at me, but once again, due to Onslaught being OP, he will just convert those into passives instead. That is why you see some Daunteds being debuffs as well as passives throughout the fight, and well, that happened. Essentially, I didn't consider the fact that I could parry stun the Mighty Charge dash attack, and when I noticed it, I was too slow to react. I tried to hit him, but he had already gotten rid of the stun, and I got comboed. So once again, I'm losing health due to my own stupidity, but at the very least, it didn't end any worse by me eating a special after that stun, for example, because that would very likely have cost my death here. Now going forward, if I have to take this node again, I will definitely keep in mind that I can just parry the Mighty Charge dash, and it would make any fights on the node just that much easier. The fight went down without any bigger problems once again, but due to my own stupidness I will have to use some more potions again. So look away if you hate using units on stuff like this. I know I do. Anyways, and now that that's done and over with, and next up we have a Sasquatch here on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it mini-boss node, and I will be taking this fight with Onslaught. Now Onslaught makes this fight basically nodeless. The Ebb and Flow protection as well as the right back at it node basically mean absolutely nothing, as we saw in the Ebony Maw fight. In fact, it makes this fight easier than it would be without nodes. So all I gotta do is just not be stupid, do the special 1, special 2 rotation, and the fight is done. Now there's just one small thing that I need to keep in mind, and that is the fact that Sassy can trigger the Wrath and go stun immune. And it can happen at basically any moment, so I was not prepared for it. He triggered his Wrath in the middle of my heavy charge animation, removed the stun, and immediately threw the special 2 before my heavy landed. So I had no way to save myself from that, and to top it all off, he also didn't really trigger the Wrath of Tanarak text pop-up. It only showed up for a single frame, and I did not notice it while doing the actual fight. At the very least, the text pop-up might have given me a slight warning that I should use my special 1 to save myself, though even that is a stretch, and I would likely have been too late to do that anyways. So that is my death number 2 for this season already, and it is only war number 3. Now, I am pretty disappointed about that, but at the same time, that's the kind of death that you really can't avoid. Now, I could have played it differently to avoid the situation altogether, but since I'm not fully comfortable using Onslaught yet, he's still new, I still have to learn how to use him well, I guess. So, adapting in the middle of a fight like that on the fly is not easy to do. That said, yeah, it's totally on me that I didn't save myself afterwards, and the fact that I even allowed the situation to happen, but these things happen, and I will excuse it for myself for the simple fact that the timing on it was so tight I wouldn't be able to replicate it in duels even if I tried, So the stars just aligned and I paid the price for it. In terms of units for the potions at least. Now the cleanup for the fight went very well, and that is how the fight is supposed to look like. And I will likely be taking it again in the future, hopefully without dying stupidly again. Anyways, next up we have a Fixit here on the Scare Stiff and Power Focus 2 nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And Fixit is a Gamma champion, so Chee'ilth gains a bunch of bonuses against him, including a bunch of bleed potency, or debuff potency I guess. So as you can see, the bleeds already at the very start of the fight are ticking quite hard, and they will only hit harder as the fight goes on. The game plan here is to only bait Fixit special 2s, and then, well, essentially allow the bleeds to do all the work. I will be also heavy punishing his heavy attack here to get some more bleeds up, as well as pausing any I already had on him. And at this point he is already dead. I just have to wait out for the bleeds to do their job and maybe help out a tiny bit here to close it out. The fight was honestly a lot faster and better than I thought it would be, and Chee'ilth is just surprising me even now in war number 2 that I'm using her on. Gotta say, she is extremely powerful, and I am quite happy that I actually got her from the brawl after all. Then we have an Immortal Abomination here on the Hazard Shift, Shock and Incinerate miniboss node, and I will be taking the fight with Chee'ilth again. But this time I do not have the Hulk synergy, giving me more cleanse charges to deal with the debuffs. The game plan is still the same. I use an advanced power boost and then I try to get to my special 2 as quickly as possible, even by eating hits strategically of course, and not because I suck at the game, and that is all just to get the Tranquilize debuff up as soon as possible, so that I would hopefully not have to deal with any more debuffs. Now at this point, as you can see, only 4 bleeds on the opponent and he's melting. I just gotta stack up some more and again get strategically hit, so I get to a special 1 faster, heavy punish his heavy attack to pause the bleeds, and he's just dead. There's absolutely nothing he can do to me at this point that would prevent me from finishing the fight out, and yeah, Chee'ilth hits so hard against these Gamma opponents, and even against most defenders who are not bleed immune at least. Also, just to put it out there, getting hit like that is a pro strat. I wouldn't suggest it if you're not totally comfortable with the fight you're taking. And yeah, on to the next one. We have an Attuma here on the power efficiency miniboss node, and I will be taking this fight with Onslaught. I still have the advanced power boost active, which makes this fight that much faster. I go for the special 1 here to get those early neuroshocks up, and now I just gotta get to a special 2 and the fight should be over and done with. Now one thing that helps Onslaught here quite a bit is the fact that his first medium and first light attack, along with his heavy attack, are all non-contact hits, so they will not be triggering any of Attuma's Thorns damage. Same would be with Korg and even someone like Electro. Now, even before I get to my special 2, this fight was basically halfway done, and now with just that single special 2, Attuma got melted. He had no chance to do anything there, and honestly it was fairly satisfying to take the fight as well. And with that, we have arrived at the final fight of this war. A Photon on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power miniboss node, and I am taking the fight with Lady D. Now the game plan here is to use the Ruptures to gain power from the Polka Dot Power node, to get to my special 3, throw it to gain the Relentless passive, allowing me to inflict Ruptures through the block, and then just play Photon like you should play against Photon. And what I mean by that is whenever Photon gets to 10 charges, you go ahead and let her dash back and then hit her block on purpose to trigger the pure light form, and then wait it out without giving Photon enough power to use a single special during that pure light form. That means you won't have to worry about the specials that cannot be dexed, and you should be perfectly safe from basically any of her more threatening abilities. Now I went ahead and used my special 3 here, and I thought it wouldn't give her enough power to get to a special, but unfortunately it did. So to wait out the time, I throw my striker here and slow down my combos a tiny bit, so I wouldn't have to deal with a special during the pure light form, and it worked out quite well. I went ahead and dexed the special 2 as well as the special 1s here. The specials are not too bad to dex, and even if I do miss a single dex there, the Unstoppable on Lady D should save me without too much health loss at least. Now being able to trigger the Ruptures through the opponent's block does help me out quite a bit while I'm standing around waiting for the pure light form to end. I can just hit her block to play time and still have my damage ticking and gaining power from the Polka Dot Power node. Now one thing that does make this fight a little bit more annoying is the Brute Force node, so I need to weave in a hit or two here and there to reset the timer, but overall the fight is quite simple, and to be completely honest, the special 3 is unnecessary. You can just use your special 2s or spam special 1, either way the fight shouldn't be too bad, so long as you play around pure light form properly. If you trigger it or let her get too many charges so that her specials trigger it, that is when you will have problems and will likely die, since the specials do hit incredibly hard with the Dauntlets as well. As for the results, we unfortunately did end up losing 19 to 16. And while those numbers may look backwards, the reason for that is that they died 8 times to a single defender, which just so happened to be my rank 3 Silk. That meant that 5 of those deaths did not count, and we lost 2 more attack bonuses, meaning we lost the war, which is unfortunate, but there is nothing we can really do about it at this point.